what do you do? Do you make decisions based off of logic, or do you make decisions based off of feelings? In everything, I always say this: life is about balance. Sometimes emotional decisions might be good, okay? Making an emotional decision in situations. And then on the other side, logical decisions are also very, very important. And it's important to understand the balance between these two. And in this world nowadays, logic might be more than your feelings. And so what's the difference between these two? You'll oftentimes hear people when you ask them questions, or something happens or something occurs. One of the first things people do is they say, oh man, I feel like it should be this way. Oh man, I feel like that was wrong. I feel like it was this. I feel like it was that. And they might be right. They might be right. Their feelings might be actual right. Like, let's say, for example, somebody just shot somebody in the head. The dude that the perpetrator, the guy he just shot and hit, the victim, he came over and accidentally stepped on the dude's new Jordans. And so the dude with the gun shot the dude in the head because he stepped on his Jordans. Now, most people, when you're looking at that situation, says, man, that's messed up. That's wrong, man. I feel like that should have never happened, man. I feel like this. I feel like that. And they'll lambaste that the dude that accidentally stepped on the person's Jordans. They will be upset that that person lost their doggone life, and they'll be mad at the perpetrator. You know what I'm saying? From a emotional standpoint, a lot of people are be very angry, and they're like, man, that was never an excuse to do that. That was la da 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 da. And it's funny because on one side, people will be feeling that way. Oh, that's morally wrong, because people's moral justice, their moral meter will come up, and they say, oh man, that was morally wrong that dude shot that dude for no reason. That was more. And people are like, man, I can't understand it. I can't understand it. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you can't understand it if you're looking at it purely from an emotional standpoint. You understand? Even from a logical standpoint, to a certain degree, logically, it doesn't make that much sense. Why would you kill somebody just because they stepped on your new Jordans? You understand? But in the same vein, logically, it does make sense in the sense that you don't know what the emotional state of this dude is that shot the other dude. You don't know what the heck that he was going through, or whatever, or he or she was going through, or whatever the case may be. You have no clue. They might have been emotional. They might have been this, and this. So from a logical perspective, it makes sense, because this person, or another situation that they might find themselves in, to do that they stepped on his shoes. Well, he'll start to, like, he feels like he was slighted, disrespected, or whatever the case may be, even if that wasn't necessarily the case. Hell, even if it was the case. But again, most people from a logical perspective, they be like, man, I can't understand why this happened. And then the other half, they'll understand from a logical standpoint why it happened. But those who are emotional, they'll be just like all over the place. It's very hard for them to understand, like, oh my God, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Well, it happened because this dude just stepped on his Jordans. And whether or not everybody else feel like it was unjustified for killing another person because they stepped on your shoes, he did. He thought it was very much justified. He thought it because he shot the other person in the doggone skull. Now that person's on the ground bleeding. You know what I'm saying? And they not getting back up. Okay, that's the last word that they ever spoke. But people are like, oh my God, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Hey, maybe it is. But at the same time, people will be missing this damn point, and then they'll get into emotional reaction. And then oftentimes now we had a situation where this occurred, people, they'll be thinking from an emotional standpoint at this point. Now their mind is not focused necessarily on this individual who had a gun or the person that died. Like, it's like, especially like moving forward, they'll be calling for, like, who knows? They be calling for a whole bunch of different crazy stuff that, like, will not ever fix the problem. But it's an emotional outburst that they'll be coming up with. They'll say some emotional things. You understand what I'm saying? And the emotional decisions, when you make emotional decisions, typically your decisions are going to be bad. How often do you make decisions when you're emotional, and then you look back and say, oh my God, that was the greatest decision I ever made in my life? I am going to be more emotional all the day and every day, because the best decisions I've ever made in my life were emotional. No, for most part, most people, when you're making an emotional decision, it's typically going to be the wrong decision that you should make. A lot of people are in prison and they're regretful because they made an emotional decision at one point in time and another. Hell, the dude that his shoes just got stepped on, he might be regretful because he just shot somebody. Now he on cell block C with Big Dick Tyrone. He might be regretful for what he did. He was in an emotional state at the moment, okay? But oftentimes when you're emotional, or you're in this emotional state, you cannot think clearly. You understand what I'm saying? Hell, for the most part, even our justice systems understands this concept. Like, for example, have you ever heard of these cases where a dude might have walked in on him and his wife, and then there was another dude, and they was getting it in, and then the dude that the husband that was cheated on, he went into this rage, pulled out a gun, shot both of them. when he goes to court, do you know sometimes they'll reduce that person's sentence, and then they'll do it like, I think the justification of reducing the sentence is, what is it? Something with passion. It was the heat of the moment. It was some type of emotional. So they'll take that into consideration when they're sentencing this man. So he might get like 10 years in comparison to first degree murder, and he's in jail for the rest of his life. It's because of this emotional aspect. Because your emotions, you make that bad decisions. Your emotions are just like, they're like, you're not thinking clearly. You understand what I'm saying? But your logical side is completely different. Where logical situations is, you more likely are thinking things out. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking about your actions. If I do this, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. There's going to be repercussions for my actions. You understand what I'm saying? So I cannot just move and do whatever. If I walk in here and even if I caught my woman with this other dude in the bed, if I get up and I shoot them, that's the next 10 years of my life in prison. You understand what I'm saying? Just for this female that, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that if I don't want to be in prison, if I don't, whatever, that's not the logical decision. That's not the best decision to make. So logically, you'll be able to kind of like take a step back and then move forward. And this is so important to understand the difference between these two, because oftentimes, again, people will think that they're making logical decisions, but they're actually making emotional decisions. And when you make emotional decisions, just like I said before, oftentimes they're going to be the wrong decision. It's not to say that emotional decisions is not always, wrong, but you got to understand, like, and take a step back, like, wait, am I about to make an emotional decision? Am I about to, because when you making these emotional decisions, or you let your emotions cloud you, oftentimes I always talk about how this society as a whole, they really want you to be in your feelings. They really, 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 really want you to be in your feelings, especially as a man. Oftentimes, when people are talking about, oh, you need to get into your emotions and your feminine side and something like that, they typically are talking to men. They're not talking to women. They're talking to men. That is where that's coming from. And you got to understand why. Why is it that these people are trying to get you so hard to invest in your emotions as a man? And here's the thing. I always advocate for men in general. Yes, you are a man. You're not a robot. You have to understand your feelings. You have to understand your traumas. You have to understand your emotions. And it's important to work through that stuff and understand, like, they call it emotional intelligence. It's important to understand why you do the things that you do. Because if you don't understand why you do the things that you do, you'll be walking a life where you're making purely emotional decisions. And then you don't understand why your life is all in shambles. You don't understand why your life is dysfunctional in a certain type of way. And things are not panning out how you want them to, because you're making decisions based off of emotions. That's just sometimes what it is. And it's important to understand this, because oftentimes a lot of dudes, they'll think that the stuff is soft, they think that it's weak, they think it's this, and this, and this. But the fact of the matter is, when these people, when they get into situations where those emotions are triggered, they can't control themselves. They don't know how to slow down. You know what I'm saying? And so they act all irrational, and they all over the damn place. They don't understand their emotions is based off of their trauma. And oftentimes these, a lot of dudes in general, I mean, women are like this too, but especially with dudes, because of just like how dudes are conditioned in general. Like, again, a lot of people that are predatory, they can see your emotions. They can see your, not see your emotions, sorry. They can see your traumas. They can see what, like, even if you think you can hide them as good as you can, people can see them. Predatory people, they can spot it on you. And so what they'll do is they'll antagonize you. They'll press that button, and hoping and knowing one day you're going to explode, or you're going to go tit for tat with these type of people. And then you're going to destroy your life, which is what these people want you to do, because you're going to make an emotional decision. You don't get an AK-47, run up in there and shoot the hell doggone place up like it's Columbine 2.0. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's just sometimes it's like what's like you go off the deep end. And so sometimes you don't understand how these people is getting at you and how they can press your button the way that they can. Sometimes they can see your trauma. That's why I always advocate, especially like for men, is to understand that trauma, and understand that when you your trauma is what triggers your emotions oftentimes. And if people can get at your emotions, they can control your emotions, they control you. They control you. That's why it's so important. So, but with all that being said, as a man, even as a man, you're not supposed to be out there being emotional. You're not supposed to be out there in front of everybody's face, crying, weeping, boo-hooing, and all that stuff. Yes, you need to work through your emotions. Yes, you need to understand your feelings. You understand? Not like how these people trying to tell you to do. I'm saying it from the perspective that they're going to get triggered regardless, whether or not you like it. And it's important to work through that stuff, so that you don't go out there and emote to the world at a, and then you be looking back at your decision like what the hell did I do with my life? But you also oftentimes you got to work through that stuff behind the scenes by yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes, if God blesses you, you can have another person there, another, whatever, another sounding board. But oftentimes, sometimes you just got to do it by yourself. You got to go into that room, lock the door, pull out your boxing gloves and start whooping these demons' asses. That's the only way you're gonna do. You got to start swinging on your demons. And what I mean with that is you got to start looking stuff in the in its face and start confronting what the hell is going on inside. Sometimes you don't know what the hell is going on inside. But again, this is a blind spot, again, that you might not be able to see. But predatory people, or people in general who are good at manipulating and puppeteering people, they can see it on your face. It's like it's all over your face. That's why it's so important to like work through these things, because if they if they understand your traumas, and especially if you don't know it, if you can't see it, oh my God, they about to have a field day. If it's your blind spot, oh my God, they about to have a field day with you. It's because you don't understand your traumas. So people can get at your traumas they can get at your emotions through your traumas. They know what triggers you. They know what makes you upset. They know what makes you happy. They know how to play you up and down. So if they can control your emotions, they control you. They control you. And I'm telling you, they can see it. They can see it on your face. If you're a dude and you going out with these females, there's some predatory females out there. Okay, all females ain't good. People be acting like all these females is no. Some of these females is great. No, you know what I'm saying. In the same vein, there's a lot of dudes out here that just ain't nothing. You understand? But like, if you're a dude, yeah, of course, some females, they'll see that stuff on your face. You can't hide it from them. You know what I'm saying? And again, if you're a female, yeah, some dudes, they'll see that stuff, your hurt, your pain, your trauma on your face, and they will get over on you. They will play you. They will make you Pinocchio. They will put you on those strings and start to walk you around, and you won't understand how they doing it. It's because they getting at you through your emotions. You understand what I'm saying? But I got off a little bit off track. But in general, it's extremely important to understand why people care about your emotions so much. Predatory people, or even the society as a whole, you have to understand that this society in America, at least in 2024, at least what I've seen, they operate off of narratives. I mean, it's stories. They tell you stories. They don't tell you true history. They don't tell you what truly happened. They tell you feel good stories. They tell you things that happened in the past that didn't even happen. They embellish. They do, you know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about the past, and they talk about it in such a way that they have a certain agenda. They only gonna teach you so much. So if you don't go and get extra information outside of what they indoctrinate you with at the schools and things of that nature, or what the people around you know, you'll realize that a lot of people that's around you, all they know is what was told to them in these indoctrination systems called schools. They don't really understand what's going on outside of whatever was taught to people. And so oftentimes people are caught up in this bubble because they only know what the hell the school system has taught them. And the school system is not there to teach you. They're there to indoctrinate you. They're there to make you a worker. They only want you to be smart enough, just enough to work the machines, but just dumb enough of not knowing what to do after that, or to take over and do your own thing. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not a knock to people. That's just like what these people do. They indoctrinate you. And so they indoctrinate you with stories, narratives. And why these narratives and these stories are so important, because these are like subtle programming ways that they put on you, where you're building your foundation as a person, and you're growing up. Your foundation is based off of the narratives that are being told towards you. And sometimes even in your family units, that all they know is what was told to them, the same indoctrination process as you. So you're taking all your cues off of what everybody else around you is doing. And so if everybody around you is their mindset is based off of these false narratives that these people, the elites, the true elites, have set up, it's like you're like putty in these elites' hands, because what they're gonna do next is they understand what makes you upset. They know what makes you happy. They may know what makes you smile. They know all this stuff. They know your emotional state. I always say this too, especially like if you're in some of these disenfranchised communities, meaning like you black this, and this, and it's not to. I always have to say this. My agenda is never, ever, ever to get on here and talk about all this malarkey that they be talking about with this oppression, black and white thing. I'm just trying to spit out what is. You understand? Like, I'm not trying to get here and say, oh, bad whitey, bad these people, bad these people. I don't care about that. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is what it is. You understand? So, but with that being said, especially like if you were like a black person stuff, they know what the hell you be going through. They know what a lot of these women be going through. They know what all these people be going through, because they set the system up in that way for the very first, in the first beginning. They know what they're doing. You understand? Like these people, they create chaos and then they run around and then they try to act like they got a solution. They do have a solution, and it's a solution to the chaos that they're the one that just created. It's called what it's called order out of chaos. I forgot exactly what it's the Hegelian dialectic. I don't know if that's necessarily it too, but they have to create order out of chaos. And they are the ones that's creating the chaos. Then they're running on the other side and saying that they have the solution to the very chaos that they were the ones that just started. Ain't that interesting? But in general, they know your emotional state because they set you up in a way. They know where you live. They already know what it is. They already know how the people around you in your communities think and everything. They know your emotional state. So it's easy. It's easy in a way to start to trigger people's emotions is because they know what emotional burdens that people have because they were the one that set up a system that they would have those emotional burdens in the very first place. You understand? They set it up that way on purpose. It's not an accident. None of this stuff is on accident. So why is that so important? It's because now they know your triggers. Now they know what makes you happy. They know what makes you sad. Now they can get at you in ways that you'll never ever. It's like you'll never catch up to them because and they encourage people follow your heart, do it with your emotions. Not to say that that's not always bad. I'm saying that you have to have this in moderation. And the way that they're trying to get it at the elites, they want you always in emotional mode. Emotional, 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 emotional. This is why I always advocate, especially as a man, you have to work through those emotions and those traumas that you got. It's not about this getting on the feminine side, and it's not weak. It's not just females that do. You have to understand the importance of understanding your emotions, understanding your traumas, understand what you, because I'm telling you, predatory people, they know what you be going through. They can see it. You ain't got to say it. They can see it on your face. Oftentimes they'll sit there and they might think that you're going through something. You have some type of trauma or whatever the case may be. And what they'll do is they'll throw something out. They'll do something to see if it triggers you. You understand what I'm saying? And if it triggers you, oh, they got you now. Okay, this is who this person is. I see what I can do to get over on this person. I know how to emotionally manipulate this person. They're testing you. Okay, is this gonna work or is this gonna work? And whatever falls into the hole, whatever it gets the goal. Oh, okay, that's how I can get at this person through your emotions. They will break you down through your emotions. It's very important to do that. Extremely important to do that. Extremely. That is their gateway into destroying you. And they want you to think in an emotional way. They want you to be very emotional. I've had some people in the past, have you ever dated somebody, they really wanted you to fall in love with them? Oh, why don't you want to fall in love with me? Why fall in love? Why would I fall in love with you? What? Why would I fall in love with you? Again, this is a very manipulative, sly way that they're able to really get people in a way that a lot of people they never ever will see it coming. They tell you that you should fall in love in order to really have a successful family and stuff like that. You need to be in love with the person. Oh, I'm so madly in love with you. And you should never be in love with people. When you're in love with people, that is idolatry. The only entity that you ever should be in love with is God and God alone. Nobody else has that right. No one else. Like, I don't give a damn who they are. You shouldn't be in love with loving somebody in comparison to being in love with somebody. Two completely different things. I love how this dude named Chronicles, he said this. He said, like, being in love with somebody, it's like being high. It's like you being on the drugs, like you just smoked some weed or took some other these harder drugs. You drinking a drink. You're under the influence in a way. That's what it's like when you're in love. It's this high. And so that's oftentimes why when things go wrong for people who are in love, phew, it's extremely catastrophic. It's just like when a person who's doing a lot of drugs, when they're going cold turkey or, whatever the case may be, they be spazzing. Especially if they was taking some hard drugs, they'd be going crazy. Like, it's like, I've heard it's like some of the worst time that you can go through if you were an addict or you use this drug a lot and then you going through it cold turkey. Same thing like how it is when people say, oh, you need to be in love. This is what the elites tell you to do. That's not what God told you to do, but they'll tell you, oh, this is love. You need to be in love. That is idolatry. That's a person worshiping another person. It's like a drug. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why these relationships never work, because when things naturally are high, just like when you take any drug, you're going to go up and you're going to be on a high for a while, but what goes up must come down. So eventually You understand? And so inevitably the relationship will never ever work because these people are in love with each other. You can't be in love with it. Like that stuff turns into somebody is stalker. That turns into somebody like just goes extremely obsessed and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they get crazy, crazy. That's what it's like when people are in love with you. So you're not, no, you shouldn't be in love. But some manipulative people, they be like, oh, I want you to be in love with me. The reason why they want you to be in love with them is because they're going to manipulate you through your emotions. If you're in love with them, you're not thinking logically. That's why they want to pull you away from that. They want you to pull you away from those logical understanding of how things work and how the reality is and how you look at a person. They don't want you to look at them logically because when you look at them logically, they can't get over on you. They can't play you. They can't get what they want up out of you. They can't control you by threatening to leave or whatever the case may be. That's how people will do. This is why a lot of people will want you to fall in love with them. They know your traumas, they know your triggers. Again, this is why I say you got to know those things and work through those things, especially as a man. You got to go in your bedroom, turn or get a pad, get a pencil, get your boxing gloves, start swinging on these demons. That's the only way. These people, they will see it. They know it. They know it. They know it. They know what you want. They know what you never had. And so what they're going to do is they're going to become a goddamn chameleon and they're going to change right into what you've never had. Very important. Very important. They're going to change right into the thing that you never have. And the reason being is because they want you to be under this spell that this person is your dream person. And it doesn't just pertain to one person. You could think about this in several different endeavors, whether it be with work, whether it be with, I don't know, whatever goals or whatever the case may be. This is just like in terms of manipulative person. And again, even at the grand scale, at a national level, at least in America, they do it at the global level, but especially at least in America, they know what you've never had. They know the trauma that you've experienced. They know your emotional state to a certain degree. And so what they will do is to trigger it. They need to trigger it. They need to trigger it in a way where you need to go into this chaotic form. They need to get you in this chaotic mess. And what they're going to do is they're going to be the ones that stimulated it. But then on the other side, they're going to come in and act like they got your back and they're there to help you. They want you to destroy yourself in such a way, or they want you to break you down in such a way after triggering you that you're now all over the place. And then they're going to come in and give you the solution to the problem that they were the ones that created. It's not to say that they were the ones that created the trauma in the very, very first place. But what I'm saying is they can see it and it can trigger that trauma. And so they can get you to another level where they can get you to conform through your emotions, through your trauma. They can get you to conform in such a way. They're going to create chaos and then turn around and give you peace or solution to the chaos that they were the ones that created. And they knew what chaos was going to be good for you because they know your traumas, they know your emotions. You see what I'm saying? And so what they want you to do is think emotionally. Think emotionally. The society as a whole, they want you to think emotionally. People don't really give a rat's ass. The elites, the true elites, whoever the one is truly running this bad boy, they don't give a damn about your emotions. They don't care. I don't care how many times they come up in your face and they're smiling. I don't care how many times they try to come to your aid when things go wrong and they claim like they're there for you. I don't care about these things. Yes, some people might be sincere, but a lot of people, especially elites, they don't give a damn about your emotions. They don't care about these people who's been in these disenfranchised groups and they're talking about, oh, these people are able to express their emotions, that they want to say space and stuff like that. They don't do it for real, genuine reasons. They don't. That's not why they care about people's emotions. That's not why they're saying, oh, you should be emotionally sensitive to everybody. They don't truly care or give a rat's ass about people's emotions, their traumas, and whatever the hell that they're going through. They say that because this is a mask that they're going to use to come in and bring in reforms, bring in things that's ultimately going to hurt the people. But they cannot do it when people are thinking at a logical level, when they're not emotional. They can only do it when people are emotional. How do you get people emotional? Well, I know it, my friend. Well, the way that you get people emotional is, first off, you got to show black dudes getting shot down in the street. Black dudes in this country have been getting shot down in the street since I don't know when, okay? They've been getting shot down and killed like crazy. This is nothing new at all. But now all of a sudden they want to do a media coverage on it. Now all of a sudden they want to pick up the story. Now all of a sudden they want to plaster all this and talk about the injustice that these people on the other side of the railroad tracks that got the skin dark as night. These people are going through all these heinous things. And now what they got to do is they got to get the white middle class to get on board. You understand? How do you do that? Well, again, my friend, plaster black dudes getting shot shut down in the damn street, so and say police brutality, police, and so it's legitimate. This is real. This is real. It's legitimate that they're like black dudes are getting shot down in the street, and of course, it's going to get people emotional. Why is it so emotional? Well, there's also a narrative attached to these black dudes getting shot down in the street. You understand? You see the game? There's a narrative that we were already indoctrinated with in the school. Oh, these black people have been oppressed. These black people have been enslaved. These black people have this. And a lot of white people, oh, you white people are bad, whitey. You look at all these evil things that you guys did to these people. And you da 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 da. You understand? And then they also give that stuff to the black people. Not to say that these things are true, but the majority of white people, they have never owned a goddamn slave in their life. They might have sometimes, in some cases, they have benefited from, the ability that whoever the hell is really running this country, that the white people have been in power. They have gotten some carrots, okay? But for the most part, a lot of these people they've come from Europe. They're descendants from Europe. They literally just got to this country. A lot of people that are white, they just got to this goddamn country. These people ain't oppressed damn black people. They be acting like all white people had slaves and stuff like that. At least in America, everybody has had goddamn slaves. And I'm talking about from the global perspective and the world history perspective. But they be acting like all these white people have oppressed black people and da da da. And that's a goddamn lie. A lot of these white people ain't got the goddamn power to oppress no goddamn body. There's only just like how they make it seem like all white people have slaves. No, a lot of these white people have been poor, just like another doggone black person or whatever case may be. They've been poor. You understand? Just like how we have now the haves and the have-nots. It was just the same way back then, the have and the have-nots. The middle class is the more important thing that was not necessarily there. They were more likely building up the middle class. But the middle class is extremely important because the middle class is the one that pays all the damn taxes. The middle class is the damn steamrolling engine. The elites are not the doggone steam. No, the middle class is the one that keeps this bad boy going. You understand? It's the middle class. But with all that being said, you got to get the damn middle class on board. If you don't get the middle class on board, then you can't really do anything. You understand? You look at the civil rights movement. Why was the civil rights movement so important? Why did they plaster these people getting shot down in the street? Why did they get Emmett Till and his what happened with Emmett Till and put it all in the newspapers with Mammy Till? Why did they do all this? Why did they show you on your TV screens of these people getting bitten by dogs and shot down with water hoses? You think those from the black people? Hell no. I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, but it was for the middle class white Americans. That is what it was for. You had to create chaos. You had to get to their humanistic appeal. You had to appeal to them at a humanistic level in order for them to remove themselves. Because when people are in a state of peace, they don't want to change. Logic is now running the damn game when peace is in place. Okay. But they had to pull the white people in, the white middle class, that is. They had to pull them in. How? You had to pull them in through showing black people getting brutalized in the way that they were, telling the narrative. Now we got the narrative going as well as these images and stuff like that. That's going to galvanize a lot of white Americans into the movement. Even people who were against something before, now they're in on it now. It's because of what they see. Now they have an emotional reaction. Now everybody's operating out of this state of morality. You understand? You got the white Americans, and then now you got the black Americans holding hands. At least that's what they show you. Holding hands, trying to fight this injustice that's occurring against these goddamn black dudes that getting shot down in the street. You understand what I'm saying? But this was a ploy. It wasn't real. It wasn't it wasn't real at all. What they had to do is they had to get people emotional, because now that they showing you all these black dudes that's getting shot down in the street, i.e. chaos, now that they show that, now people are now ready to change, because again, when people are in a state of peace, they do not want to change. Now that peace is gone and chaos is now here, i.e. these black dudes getting shot all the doggone place. Now the white Americans are more willing to change. Now they're more willing to bring in something new based off of morality. You understand? Now the elites can fly their asses on the other side like Superman with their red cape and boots and bring in programs that, oh, you guys have been victimized and brutalized? Wow. Well, I have no fear. fake ass Uncle Sam is here and we're going to help you save the damn day. These people some goddamn liars. They're liars, tricksters. And I ain't talking about all of them. I'm talking about the true goddamn elites. Whoever the one is that really running this bad boy, they some goddamn liars and they know what they're doing and they're pimping people's pain. So they're going to come in and act like they're people's friends and they're going to bring in these damn programs acting like it's going to benefit people and it's not at all. They're going to act like it's for the black dudes getting shot down in the street and it's not that at all. It's always, without refute, they're going to take the black plight and use it as a cannon, as an energy source, as something to bring in the true programs that they really want to bring in. The black plight is the way that they can induce chaos. Once they have chaos going on, they can now bring in reforms that they wanted to bring in before, but they couldn't bring it in because the white Americans didn't want to go for it. You see the game that they play? You see that real smooth game? They do it through people's emotions. And not only that, now there's a level of morality going on here. The elites can bring in the programs as a sense of morality, restoration of morality. We got to get these, we got to be moral about these things. Okay? And so this is so important because people are still in an emotional state. But even when there was a peak. So at first, the movement was all the way down here. But the elites show black dudes getting shot down in the street. So now we went all the way up here, okay? Now white Americans is on board and stuff like that, and morality is at its highest. So even though when this occurs and it starts to go down, the steadiness of the I can't even talk right now. Whatever the wave is going down, right? But morality is still at the top. So when the elites are bringing in programs and morality is used as the shield, a lot of white Americans or black people, and whatever case may be, they can't say a goddamn thing. They gotta be quiet. It's because, especially if it's white Americans, how can you say something? You're racist if you say something. You're this, you're that, you're that. How can you fight against morality? How dare you? If you're a black person, you're coonish. You're this, you're that. How dare you speak against morality? How dare you speak against morality? You see the game that they play? How dare you speak against a morality? Truthfully, morality ain't got a goddamn thing to do with it. They use morality as a fake ass tool to bring it in. You understand the game that they play? They use morality. It's a trick. It's a ploy. And they're able to get away with it. And then now they can get everybody on board because everybody's still in their emotions. They're still emotional. You see why they care about your emotions so much? They're still emotional. And now when people get up and they say something, even if they see something that the elites are doing that is wrong and they calling the elites out, well, people will start to, especially if it's a white man, hell no. He will be lambasted. He will be put down. He will be he will be kicked out, even if he's saying something that's real. But people ain't listening to what the hell he's saying because they thinking about things from an emotional standpoint. They see an event, the chaos that the elites had showed you. Also, you have to also juxtapose the chaos that they're seeing, like i.e. black dudes getting shot down in the street. Also couple that with the narrative. Now, when these people, when black people especially, or other people of all these other nations, if they don't know history, that ass is grass. It's because they have nothing else. So they base their life off the narrative, and now these situations is occurring. And so now they're just stuck in limbo between these two. And so when anybody says something against these reforms and anybody says anything against these damn elites and see what they asses is really doing, well, the people that are in the most pain are going to attack that person, call them a racist, a sexist, a homophobic, a disphobic, a dataphobic, a this, that, all these phobics, all these ist, and all this, all these things to shut them down and shut them up based off of morality. That's a smooth game the devil is playing. You understand? And people can't even see it. You know why? They're thinking with their damn emotions. It's not to say that that's necessarily all wrong, but they're thinking with their damn emotions. They're thinking with their emotions. And your emotions cannot rule the damn show all the times because when you're emotional, you're going to miss things. People who are not emotional, they'll be able to see better. You understand? When you're emotional, you don't make the best decisions. That's not always the case. But they want you to be in your emotions. They want you to have safe spaces. They don't want you to be triggered. They don't want you to be triggered because they truly care. No, 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 no. They don't want you to be triggered because they understand when you're triggered, the problems and the traumas and the things that you're going through will be put right back to the forefront. You understand? As long as they're able to cancel everybody that says something that triggers people or makes people feel bad or whatever the case may be, they're able to silence the truth. They're able to get people to continuously ignore the problems or hide or run away from the problems that they're dealing with. They don't have to truly really face them. They're going to run. Oh, this is triggering me. Sometimes you got to be triggered in order to go to pull out wherever the hell is going on. Because regardless, people be acting like because they're in a safe space and like things people ain't triggering them, they be acting like that's just going to ignoring the problem is just going to take the problem away. Ignoring the trauma, take it all away. Ignoring their emotions, take it all away. And focusing on somebody else, focusing on these people up over here, like the narrative has told you to do, all that stuff is gonna keep you in this cycle where you just hate these people and they ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. You still gonna be hurting. Still gonna be hurting. Nothing's gonna change. And it's an emotional decision. And it's not rational. It's not rational whatsoever. You see the game that these people play? They want you to be emotional for a reason, friends. It's not because they truly care. It's not because they really want to, oh yeah, I'm so happy about this. No, 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 no. This is a method to shut you up. Because when you talk and you're saying something that is going to trigger people or hurt people's feelings, the truth is naturally going to hurt people's feelings. The truth is naturally going to divide people. The truth is the truth, and the truth will set you free. You want the truth, you can't handle the damn truth. But the truth is so important. The truth is extremely important. But they're able to muffle it. They're able to shut it down. They're able to remove it. They're able to get people to stop talking and use the guise of hate speech. Oh, if you're saying something, you're hateful of these people. You're hateful of these people. You're hateful of this. You're hateful to this. Oh, you must hate your mama. You must hate your daddy. Oh, man, you must be this. You must be that. Because you're not agreeing with what I'm saying. Because you're going against me. Something wrong with your goddamn brain. You must be slow. You must be stupid. You must be dumb. You must be a retard. You understand? You must be all these things because you obviously have lost your goddamn brain cells if you don't agree with everything what I say. You see the game that these people play? You're obviously immoral and you're like the devil. You're obviously the devil. You're always obviously the worst person to ever walk the earth because you don't agree with what I'm talking about. Because you saying something contrary to what the narrative and the indoctrination that they've told us. You're going against the programs that's coming in. But these people love us so much. Why would they come and bring us these programs if they didn't love us? But they're looking at things from an emotional perspective. They don't see the forest through the trees. Now, the elites are giving those people who are the most pain, the most in their emotions, the most in their feelings. They're giving them the weapon of morality to cut down anybody and everybody, legally able to cut people down when they say something that's triggering them. Isn't that a smooth game? You're saying something that they don't like that's triggering to them. You bringing them to reality. You saying something that's based in facts. People don't like it. They've been living in the world of idealism and they're only able to live there as long as they don't face their problems. And they're able to do that if all these spaces are safe and nobody's saying nothing. Everybody's like going along with the flow. You're not saying nothing. You see the game that these elites is playing? The elites is bringing us deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into a dark despair. And they're using our emotions as a method to do it. You got to understand what they're doing. And when you look at things from a logical perspective, a lot of people who are emotional, they is not trying to hear what you're saying. That's why the elites give them the weapon of morality. That's why we got cancel culture. That's why we got people who are always getting shut down. They're calling you a racist, a sexist, a misogynist. They say, oh, what you're saying is hate speech. Hate speech is not covered under the Constitution. You see the game that they play? You say something that's realistic, that's facts. That's hate speech, not covered under Constitution. They're able to legally shut you up. They're able to legally fire you. Oh, you're not inclusive of everybody. They're able to illegally discriminate against you because you're not accepting of everything that all these people be saying. You see the game? You see the game? It's wrong for what you're saying, but when they're saying it, it's all good and dandy. They don't realize there's no two-way street on this. Be like, come on now. Come on. What are you talking about here? There's a two-way street on this. But people who are emotional, they're not going to realize this. In the same vein that you saying something, that I'm saying something that might hurt your feelings, do you understand what you're asking me to do? What you're telling me I need to do is hurting. It's like, it's pissing me off. It's like, this is a two-way street, but it's like they only allow one group. It's only one side that's able to go back and forth. You understand? They're the ones that they can put forth that they're triggered about what somebody's saying. But the same thing, even what they're saying, they think is more. They're at a more higher ground, a more enlightened ground. But it's like in the same vein that you're saying something at this enlightened ground, I'm offended by what you're saying. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way. Just because you're offended and I'm offended by what you're saying. It's a two-way street in it. No. You must be this. You must be that. Maybe you must hate everybody. You must have small D word energy. You must be this. You must be that. You see what I'm talking about? Ain't that interesting? Ain't that they would talk about them white boys and them rednecks all the way back then, what they used to say, and they used to shame people and stuff like that. Now they do the exact same thing today, do they not? Ain't that a good? But they're more enlightened though. They're at a higher moral ground though. You see, they're more inclusive though, but they're only inclusive to people that think, act, and move just the same way as them. And those who do not think, act, and move the same way as them, they're going to do just like how them white boys do, but they're going to do it in a little bit. They'll just smear you to death. They'll say that you're this. They'll cancel you. They'll try to remove any method of you making money. You see the game that they play. Them white boys used to do that all the way back in the set and all the way back in the day, and they lambasted them white boys. But now today it's okay because this is what is moral. This is what is moral. We have the higher moral ground. We are more enlightened. Whatever I say goes. Okay, I am Jesus 2.0, and I obviously know everything that's going on. I don't have the holes in my hands and my feet, but trust and believe me, I'm the second coming. I am the Messiah. This is how these people walk around. This is how they walk around the goddamn country every damn day. What are you talking about? But they're only able to get away with this stuff if most people are in a state of emotionality. They're able to shut people down based off of morality, fake morality, false morality, and the morality only goes their way. When morality is going back in the opposite direction, they're trying to nullify it. You have no right to speak. You're a man. You're a woman. You're this. You're that. You guys had all your time. Now it's our time. We are the ones that are more empowered now. And now we're going to use discriminatory practices against you guys because you guys use discriminatory practices against us. But we're the more higher moral one. We're more in line with God. You know, what? What? What are these people on, man? What is these people on? But I'm telling you, this is why they care about your emotions. This is why. You understand? And this is why people that be making emotional decisions. They actively go out there and encourage you every day to make emotional decisions, i.e., bad decisions most of the time. They need you to be in a state of hurt because what you're going to go do is you're going to go spin, spin, spin. You're going to go and try to find something to fill that void that's ultimately going to fatten the pockets of the elites. It all comes back to that almighty dollar. They want to dismantle and break apart family systems, the nuclear family and things of that nature. So you have no safe haven. You have no place to go back. You have nowhere for spiritual grounding to really try to get some type of spiritual understanding about life. At least in the sense that like they're somebody that can truly help you, somebody that's there to truly support you. They got to break all these foundations away and have you reliant on the system, because now the only way that you even feel a modicum of happiness is when you go shop. They have ads and campaigns and TV news cycles and things. Oh, you're going to have the best time of your life if you go to Bahamas and go do this and do that, and you go do this and go do that. You're more willing to go do it because you want to go get happy in some way, shape, or form. The trauma and this stuff is still there. It never goes away. It gets worse with time, and your emotions is still there. Simply because people ain't triggering it doesn't mean that problem didn't go away. And you'll be making decisions based off your trauma and your emotions, not even knowing it. Then not even making logical decisions. That's why when you be asking people and talking to people, they be saying when they say something, they say, "Oh, I feel like it's this way. I feel like it's that way." And it's like, I understand. There's a time, there's a place for everything. There's a time, but it's like I didn't ask you for your feelings. I asked you for what you know. Those are two completely different things. You understand? Logic is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You understand? Feelings is A, Z, 4, 5, 1, D, apostrophe mark is this. Your feelings is all over the damn place. It's not logical, and that's why people will make very bad decisions in their life because they don't even realize they're not making logical decisions. They're making emotional decisions. Their lifestyle is based off of emotional decisions. It's not to knock people, but they don't even realize. And your emotional decisions is more likely based off of the trauma that you've endured in your life. The unresolved trauma is going to be based off of that. Predatory people know these things. The people who are really running this, the elites, they know these things. They want to know your emotions because once they know your emotions, they know how to play you. They know how to puppet you. Again, the way that they're able to control you is they have to get at you. I mean, they use your trauma, and they got to get at your trauma through your emotions. And if they can get at your emotions, they control you. They control you. And that's how they do it. They use narratives and indoctrination that they've already given you. That's used as a pillar. So that now, when you're in your adulthood, emotions are here and you're making decisions based off a false narrative or the narrative in the indoctrinations. And on top of that, this is your foundation of what you've been taught. And on top of that, now you got your emotions running the game. I.e., if these people control the narrative, so if they can control the narrative, i.e., what you know, they also and they can get at your emotions. They can control people. They control everybody. That's how they do it. They want you in your emotions for that reason. This is why they'll tell men, "Oh, you men, you need to get back to your feminine side." Why are they telling you that? They're telling you that because you're too damn. If you're emotional, you're too damn logical. If you're a man and you're logical and you're not looking at everything with your feelings, then you're not going to be able to get bamboozled by these people. They can't play you. They can't get over on you. Oftentimes, this is why they're so heavily trying to get the men up out of the households. This is why they don't want men in the households, is because they know that men are going to look at these things in a logical perspective. And it's not to be disrespectful to women, but women oftentimes they will look at things from their emotions first. They make a lot of emotional decisions. That's what a lot of women will do. They make emotional decisions in comparison to like more so logical. That's not all women, and that doesn't even necessarily mean that's not a bad thing, and it's not a knock on women, but it's the truth of the matter. A lot of women tell you that stuff openly, that they make decisions based off their emotions, and oftentimes, if you make decisions purely based off your emotions, that's not gonna be good in the long run. But they got to take the men about the household because of that reason. You understand what I'm saying? They got to get the no. They got to get them up out of that situation for a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. But now they're trying to get this huge push. Oh, you men need to be. They got to get the men to be feel emotional through guilt and shame. Oh, you men are so bad. You're this. And it's not to say that men don't do evil things. It's not to say that all these dudes is cool. It's not to say none of that stuff at all. But in the same goddamn vein, it's not like these women is Mother Mary. These women is not like, you know what I'm saying? Like just in the same way that there's evil dudes, there's a lot of evil ass females. It's on both sides. You understand what I'm saying? Just like there's good dudes, there's good females, both on the same damn side. Gender, goodness or integrity does not mean just one damn gender. You know what I'm saying? Like what are these people talking about? But they're able to break men down through guilt and shame. Through guilt and shame. And the guilt and shame is able to work because it's predicated based off a false foundation, a narrative that men have been taught, men and women have been taught. Oh, all since the beginning of time, men have been oppressing women and men have been doing this and this, which is a bunch of goddamn malarkey. This is a bunch of malarkey. Oh, well, men didn't let women do this, and women let women do this, and what da 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 da. And they don't give you context as to why things happened in the past. Like for example, when they were talking like with the wage gap with men and women, they tell you, well, women only make this amount of money in comparison to that of men, and da 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 da. And they don't tell you the factors with which they got those statistics. They don't tell you everything that goes into that shows you why exactly women will get a certain wage and men get a certain type of wage. Like they don't tell you all those things. They give you a fact, and then people will take it and run with it. Not even understanding how did they get these statistics? How did they get them? How did they get them? You see what I'm talking about? But they're able to go, oh, you women, you guys are not paid enough. What the women, what type of job and things of that nature are the women going into? Well, no, that's wrong. How is it wrong? Like, you see what I'm talking about? But they don't want men to be logical. They want men to be emotional. That's why they're so adamant about it. That's why they got to guilt trip men and they got to do this and this and this. Is because they know when you're talking to a man in a logical manner, you can't get over on him. The only way you can get over on him is if he's emotional. Bingo. He has to be emotional. Bingo. That's why they want you in your emotions. Bingo. That's why they want you to always express yourself. But again, you know how these people is full of it and they really don't care about your emotions? Why is it that they only care about your emotions when it comes to things that doesn't necessarily hurt their pockets? It seems as though in the long run, all the things that they're telling you to be emotional about is going to aid them. You're going to go out there and spend more. Your economy is going to be in a certain type of way. The family dynamic is going to be broken down. There's no more cultures, i.e. they're looking to the government. They're looking to the TV screens as to how to act, how to move. We're getting our cultures, our behaviors, our customs based from the television. You understand? Who runs the television? They do. Their programs and stuff like that is going to aid them in the long run. Oh, you want to be a person? You got to have this. You got to have that. Or you got to have this. You have this. And this is your social status. They set all the rules. And so when traditions are in place, they can't get over and they can't get all that money. But when traditions are gone, when cultures are gone, and people are broken down, there's no more family system, no spirituality and stuff like that. We are literally leaves in the wind. This is why they want you to be black. This is why they want you to be white. These are corporate designation title, meaning that these don't mean anything. They don't mean nothing. They're nothing. That's why it's easy to program people, is because people don't know who they are. They have no clue. So it's very easy. You got to deculturalize them first. You got to deculturalize them, because when you deculturalize them and they have no foundation, they have nobody, they're easily able to be manipulated. They're easily able to be puppeted. I can much more easily get at their emotions in comparison to if they were in a strong culture, a strong tradition, a strong family system. You see the game? You see the game? They want you to think emotionally for a reason. It's not for no reason, folks. And it's not for your betterment. I'm telling you, it's not for your betterment. They will tell you for their betterment. Oh, yes, they will tell you. They'll talk sweet in your ear all day, baby. They will. Oh, yeah, we're here for you. And we want to just do that, bop, 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 blah, 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 blah. Bumping at their goddamn mouth. Bum, 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 bum. But they're lying. And they might not necessarily be lying, but they're disingenuous with what they're asking you to do. They're very disingenuous. Very, 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 very disingenuous. And so with you as an individual, this is where you got to understand, where you got to think in logical ways as well as the emotional. Again, sometimes the best way to do it is you really got to go through your traumas and your emotions. That takes time. And this is so important, because things are going to trigger you out in this world. Again, even if you a man, this does not make you weak. It doesn't make you soft. Not in the way that these dudes over here is telling you to get with your feminine side. No, what I mean is, you are a man. Period. You can't run away from. You're a human being. You hurt just like everybody else. You go through things just like everybody else. You got traumas just like everybody else. Yes, you need to be strong. Yes, you need to be the pillar of strength for you and yours. Yes. But in the same vein, that doesn't change the fact that stuff still get at you and your emotions and things of that nature. You understand? And the thing is, it's in understanding what you're going through. Instead of being emotional, you can work behind the scenes. If you got to be emotional when nobody else can see you. You understand what I'm saying? But when you go back out there in the world, you don't ever let nobody see you sweat. That's not what I'm talking about. You still got to work through stuff behind the scenes. Call it weak, call it soft all you want to, but I'm telling you, these things will start to hurt you in the long run if you don't work through these things. You don't understand why you picking certain people, why you're around certain people. You don't understand why you go into certain job atmospheres, why you cannot kick certain habits, why you're afraid to do certain type of things. You won't understand why. All of it stems right back from the trauma that you've endured. It stems from your trauma. And people, even if you're conscious of it or not, because sometimes your trauma is in your blind spot. You're blind, so you won't understand this, but other people see it on you. It's written on your forehead. You can't hide it. You can. That's why it's so important to work on this stuff behind the scenes, because when you're starting to work on it from behind the scenes, whew, my nose. But when you're working on things from behind the scenes, you're not emotional. You're not as emotional, but you're able to control your emotions, because you realize, people can't necessarily trigger you. What people in the world do to you, it can't trigger you like that. You know what I'm saying? You're still a person, but it can't trigger you in the sense that, like, you're gonna be all over the damn place. You'll realize, like, oh, I'm feeling this way right now, or you'll get to a point where like, I gotta get away from certain environments or whatever the case may be. Because your emotions, you about to like flip. You might be about to do this. You might be about to do that. But in general, like, you'll understand your emotions better, and it'll keep you and help you stabilize. It'll help you move and make better decisions in your life, logical decisions, strategic decisions that are going to help you and your family in the future, instead of emotional ones. And I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how many people they make purely emotional decisions thinking that they're logical, and they're not. And that's why they might not be where they want to be in life. But the way that you can get to those logical decisions is first working through your emotionals, your traumas and your emotions. You got to really understand what the hell you've been through, why you went through it. You know what I'm saying? And just understanding, like, You're a person. You're a human being. You might have been through things that you probably be ashamed of. But the fact of the matter is, everybody go through stuff that they're ashamed of. Everybody do things that they're ashamed of. Everybody, ain't nobody perfect. Nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? People that run out here and they act like they perfect, they some goddamn liars. They're liars and the truth ain't in them. You know what I'm saying? They're liars. So you can't look what you see. You can't look on Facebook, social media, and look to the next man to see what the hell they doing. It's like sometimes, yeah, you can look at other people and be like, be inspired, but that don't mean you put these people up on no damn pedestal. They're not God. You can't make these people idols. You know what I'm saying? No, hell no. Ain't no other man better than you. Ain't no other man like, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that, man, people don't accomplish things, but I'm saying, like, there's at a basal level, man, ain't no other man greater than you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where you'll stand, where you want to stand respect for yourself as a man, and that everybody else is gonna give you respect, or everybody else gonna get it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you ain't going if respect ain't on the table. You know what I'm saying? And so when you grounded as a person, you're able to think about things much more logically. Therefore, like, when things come up, like, for example, even like they be talking about, like, with Donald Trump, he's a racist or whoever, you understand, even if these people is racist, what the hell can you do about that? That don't matter. Like, whatever these people be doing in their free time ain't got a goddamn thing to do with you. And you'll realize, man, you're securing yourself. It don't matter why people don't like you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It's not even that these people are racist. I keep on saying Donald Trump is racist. That dude may or may, who knows? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. And you ain't even got to worry about the approval of all these other races of people. You realize, okay, well, it's just me and my people. It's me, and in the sense that, like, I'm none of these people is better than me. A lot of times, what at least in the black community I've seen, they'll deify these other races, like these other people are like just so, and they're not. That's why some of these people be looking at black people like what the hell is wrong with y'all? Because they're like, dude, do you not see who you are? Do you not see the power at your fingertips? Do you not understand, like, you are a battery in this economy and stuff like that? Like, how much money that you generate and all this other stuff. Do you not? And like, they be looking at you like incredulous, like what is wrong with these people? It's because a lot of black people don't know what the hell that they are. They don't know, and they all over the doggone place. It's like you get to a point where you realize, man, you can do you for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? You can go to work, and these people got an attitude with you. You realize, man, they ain't got nothing to do with you sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and you ain't in your emotions. You're not your emotions with people. Like, somebody can get up there and say something like, even if Donald Trump was a racist, and people are like, oh man, and they be all over the place because this dude is in office or something like that. That stuff don't phase you. It don't phase you because you realize, man, everybody like everybody is prejudiced to a certain degree. Everybody got like that racism and stuff like that. It don't matter, and you realize that a lot of these people ain't got as much power as they try to proclaim that they do. Oftentimes, the power that they have is the illusion that they're able to create. I'm not saying these people ain't got no damn power, and I'm not saying that their power is not significant. I'm saying to the degree people be acting like these other people or this system is, in general, is like God, and it's not. It's not. It's not at all. So it's like, you realize, even if these people don't like me, what the hell does that got to do with you? What does that have to do with anything with you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's okay. That's that's their prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't got nothing to do. And you'll realize that that people will hate you for unwarranted or just, like, it don't matter why these people hate you. It doesn't really matter at all because you can't do nothing about it. And so it's just understanding, like, okay, well, it's not like that's not it is. So like, that grounding comes with God, like, and God validates you and stuff like that. When God validates you and you validate you, it don't matter if the world don't validate you. It doesn't matter. It's, you know what I'm saying? And so this is the place that you got to get to, because now you can think clear and make logical decisions. You can even work with your damn enemy or the people that they claim that hate you the most. You can think through things logically. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of an emotional standpoint. Like, for example, I always give you this example, like with slavery. Like, from a logical, from an emotional standpoint, when people be hearing about slavery, they get up, especially like if they hear about the slavery in America that's all contrived with narratives and things of that nature. A lot of people be very emotional. For example, I always ask, why would you give up slaves? I would think it'd be the silliest damn thing in the world to give up a slave. Now, for most people, if they're thinking primarily from an emotional perspective, oh my God, how can you say that? That's so wrong. Like, slavery was so wrong, and are they wrong? No, no. But they'll be looking at it from an emotional standpoint. Like, oh my God, that's so wrong. But the fact of the matter is, from a logical standpoint, if you're able to remove your emotions about that situation and you understand how the world works, I don't care whether or not people like it or not. Slavery would not be beneficial if you got to look at it from a business perspective. Am I advocating for slavery? Absolutely not. I'm trying to get people to understand this from this perspective. If you were to remove the emotions from it, it will help you with understanding that these people tell you narratives all the time. And what do I mean with that? Like, they tell you the narrative that they ended slavery based off of morality because it was wrong, which is not the truth whatsoever. If you look at these people's actions prior to, and I'm just talking about slavery in America, if you look at their actions, why would people have enough moral fiber to get rid of slavery, but they didn't have enough moral fiber to not institute it in the very first place? Why would people end slavery because of morality? That don't make that much sense. The reason being, if you're looking at it from a logical standpoint, logically, it doesn't make sense in the sense that slaves are free labor. They're free labor. Who in the world would not use a slave in free labor? I'm talking about even today. I'm talking about even black people today. How many black people would eagerly have a person that they don't have to pay that much for or that much to, even if they're black, and that person is working and they're making it, they're making, the individual that owns them to a certain degree, if they're making a lot of money, why in the hell would you not want that? If you're thinking about it from a business perspective, a lot of people, they be like, well, that's still wrong. That's okay. You can say it's wrong all you want to, but it doesn't change the fact that that's reality and that's how these people is looking at it. You see what I'm talking about? Like, it don't change that fact. You can be mad and you can say it's wrong all day. These people is not sitting there talking to God every doggone day about how they doing evil out there in the world. So you can say it all you want to that it's wrong. You can get in your feelings and not like it. You can do this, you can do that. It don't change the fact that that's exactly what they doing. What that's gonna do? Like, you can be upset and all you. It don't change the fact that that's what the situation is. And so when you're in a logical standpoint, you can think about it from this perspective and understanding sometimes things are not necessarily about race or whatever the case may be. Is race a component? Yes, but it's just that's a distraction. It's a later component. Everything comes back to that almighty dollar. So if people are able, because corporations do it today, people, again, black people, if they were able to get people who are even black themselves and they're able to get these people to work for them with little to no wages, they would do it. They would. Like, how often do you have people, they might have a business and then they family come around, oh yeah, let me get the family discount. Now the business might be a small business, but people come around, oh yeah, let me get the family discount. Let me get this, let me get that. Like, they want something up out of a person without having to pay. You know what I'm saying? So you can say it all you want to, or that's morally wrong. But the fact of the matter is, people still do it to this day. They do it today. They might change it and stuff like that. So with all that being said, from a logical component, if you're not thinking emotionally, why would they end slavery? There's other motives in comparison to something like some BS. It was just morale. It was just morality. But they tell you those feel good stories and those narratives that they ended slavery because they wanted to free the slave. They knew it was morally wrong now. And it's a bunch of malarkey. And so people, it will go over their head about what I'm talking about and truly understanding the system more and understanding where they are more if they looked at things from a logical perspective. But as long as they're looking at things from an emotional perspective, it's going to go over their head because their emotions is based off of the narratives. You understand what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is you got to understand there's a balance in life between making logical decisions and emotional decisions. You need to make more logical decisions than you do emotional decisions, especially as a man. And oftentimes, the way that you are able to make those logical decisions, you have to first work through your traumas and your emotions. You do it behind the scenes, not in front of every damn body. You won't go out there and be emotional with every damn body. Hell, you can't even be emotional with your girl or really open up to her. Hell no, that's a goddamn sin. No, 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 no. She don't even get. Only one that can show you you can be whatever is with God and God alone. Everybody else, hell no, no. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean that you don't have a certain air that you have when you're walking out and having a poker face or whatever the case may be, and never see nobody see you sweat. The same thing, you a damn man and a robot. So you still got to work on things behind the scenes. And the more that you work on things behind the scenes, you work on yourself, the less triggered you are when you walk out there in the world with things. And you're able to understand things at a much more higher logical manner, making decisions based off of logic rather than your emotions. Because I guarantee you, the majority of the times when you make emotional decisions, you will live to regret it. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.